Hey folks, it's Tuesday, April 25th, pre-market wrap. We got a bunch of great ideas for you, a lot going on. First of all, quick look at the macro QQQ SPY. You can see market's a little bit jittery ahead of big cap earnings tonight. TLT, hedge bonds, doing better. I think there was some economic data out, smaller economic data out this morning, which wasn't great. And that means maybe lower interest rates on the horizon. Good for TLT. So in any case, that may be what's going on there. But let's hit those individual stocks. We got a lot to talk about. First, we got big cap earnings. Let me just jump to that so you know what's on the schedule for tonight. We have Microsoft, Google, Visa, Enphase, and Chipotle all tonight. Okay, so keep all that in mind. FRC, I didn't play this, and I told you I'm watching this from the bleachers yesterday. If you watch post-market wrap, as just a few minutes before the report came out, the stock was at $16.50, and I'm like, this thing can go right back to $12 to $13 tonight. If the earnings are not good, that's basically what happened last night. We're at $12.50, and now it's taking an additional dive down. I'm staying away from the regional banks, especially FRC. And it's not my forte either, analyzing banks, so staying away from that. Now, we did have a bunch of other earnings. Okay, there's a couple others that were like mixed or not as good. Like there was GEO that was not good. There was Verizon, which was mixed. I didn't include them. I'm including here the ones that are good that could be signals for us that they themselves might be trades, and also some other trade ideas emanating from them. So look what's good. McDonald's, ADM, Pepsi, those three out of the ones we follow in our 300 stocks. See the theme? Food. That's all food. Food and agriculture, all right? But you know what else is good here that's not on my list that impacting CYH is Tenet Healthcare. So food and healthcare, wow, up 5%. Okay, so food and healthcare earnings are up this morning. So we already gave you McDonald's a few weeks ago, forecasted a new 52-week high. So that came and went. It was great earnings report. Actually, I didn't do math on this to see if it was a big beat for the quarter, 263 versus 233. In the headlines, I don't see anything about guidance. If I'm doing a re-rating play, I like to do it based on the full year guidance rather than the quarter that just passed. So I don't see that in the headlines. Maybe it's there. Maybe they revised their guidance for the year. Maybe their guidance is higher than what analysts are expecting. If they are, then that could be a play for a further re-rating for the day. Okay, I haven't looked into it that deeply, and we already had this at like 270. We gave you that play from like 270 to 285. So I'm not going to push it. But keep that in mind for this Celsius play in a second. Because then we have agriculture doing well with ADM. That was a big beat. 209 beats 178. Again, I don't see anything about the full year outlook, although the commentary was good. So I'm not going to give you a re-ratings play on that. But then we had Pepsi, which was a slight beat, and they did raise guidance by a little bit, by like 1%. You see the stock is up like 1%, right? So they had a nice beat and a small raise in guide. So what do we do with all these? Food and agriculture. Celsius, one of two picks I've had last night, trade of the week picks for Wolf Spaces. And I gave this to you also Friday. When Celsius closed above the 50 DMA on Friday, that was a signal. And I told you this could be a good swing to about $95, this 200 DMA ahead of earnings. Now we have another catalyst. We have Pepsi had good earnings. So I think this could continue to do well and make its way over to about $95.50 before Celsius earnings, which is like in another 10 days. So you're not going to have that to come in the way. Float, short float, 21%, massive. Few ideas for you. All have massive short floats. Okay, that was idea number one, Celsius. CYH has already been on our radar. I've had this on our list because of Chris Tuttle. I noticed that price action on Friday. He told us it was because HCA, right? HCA had good earnings last week. Well, guess what? We had good earnings from Tenet Healthcare this morning. You can see HCA. You can see that big gap up, and then Tenet Healthcare. So their peers are reporting really nicely. Tenet Healthcare, look, this gap was because of HCA. Now, secondary gap because of their own earnings. So this bodes really well for CYH, another stock with a big short position, 8.74%, which is about 13 days to cover. It's a bigger days to cover than Celsius because of the daily volume. And this one has been on our radar since last week, since those HCA earnings. And I've given you a target of the 200-week moving average at about 695, and I'm sticking with that. And today might be really good. Okay, so this is continuation. This is my one of my top picks for today. As far as a trade, I added more yesterday, held it overnight. So I'm holding this for a move towards 695. But you got to make this your own, right? In terms of entries and exits, you got to come up with your own process. When do you sell? It's probably not a good idea to wait for 695 and sell everything there. Okay. Come up with your own system, how to do that, and how to manage your risk. Okay. So that's CYH. Another one that's been on our radar, another big stock with a big short position, has been LAZR. Now, this one failed to break out the other week when I gave it to you. We're looking at it, hoping it would break out of the 20 DMA. It didn't do that. It's back up at the 20 DMA this morning because apparently, and I can't find it in this newsfeed, but apparently it was here. Jeffrey initiates. I think it's Jeffrey initiates. I'm not sure, but because I don't have my newsfeed, but I saw on social media that Jeffrey initiated with a $12 price target on LAZR. Now, this is the one I love because like everything looks so good here. The only negative thing is Goldman Sachs keeps putting a sell rating on this thing with like a 450 price target. This is one of the stocks. I made a list of stocks we're going to sell puts on, or not necessarily, but a watch list for stocks that we might want to sell puts on once the hedge fund opens Monday in just a few days. I can't wait. And this is one of them. I just love like high growth stocks, which seem overvalued with high short positions, you know, strong supports on the chart. Over here, you can see it's been relatively stable around 540. This is a great one, I believe, to sell puts on. I think I gave you that idea last week with a specific contract, and it would have been paid off in spades today. I think it's like the $5 strike for like 40 cents or something like that, like 60% annualized yield as long as it closes above 5 is like something like that's how you trade, especially in this market, right? This is not a market where you want to be directional and just hold a stock and hope you can make big capital gains 3, 6, 9 months from now. This is a tough market for that. This is all about burn and churn and chop and volatility, and selling options, I think, is a number one way to play things like this. So LAZR, CYH, Celsius, 3 stocks that could have a tailwind today. And yeah, you can day trade those. You can maybe swing trade them. And we're going to have an allocation for that as well, which is going to be Yosef, my partner, is going to be doing that part of the business. I'll be doing the selling puts part of the business. It's going to be roughly about 50-50 allocations for that strategy when we kick off our hedge fund on Monday. It's going to be exciting. RUM, another one that's on my list for selling puts. And I love this one too, because like I said, it appears overvalued. The shorts love it because it appears overvalued, but it's very, very high growth with strong support on the chart. And it's something that it's going to have a permanent sentiment premium. This is the type of stuff I just love. Okay, so anyway, why is RUM on a radar? Well, because Fox, let's see what's Fox doing this morning. They fired Tucker Carlson, and you can see it took a big dive. So right away, the market speculated that maybe Tucker Carlson's going to come over to RUM. Now, there's more to the story than this. I spent a few hours listening to a very large space last night talking about Tucker Carlson and Fox News, and then they started talking about Rumble for like a long time. And I invited Chris Pavlovsky. I reached out to him and said, dude, they're talking about you got to jump on this space. And he did that. He jumped on the space at like 11:45 p.m. last night through 12:20 a.m. I was listening to him on this Twitter space and got some more insights. And, you know, I think that the chances they sign Tucker Carlson, it's obviously there. There's speculation in here. There's going to be a sentiment premium in the stock for a bit until this kind of gets resolved when we find out where it's going to go. But I think the real play, the safer play here is that where's the Fox audience going to go? Forget about Tucker Carlson. But if Tucker Carlson's no longer on Fox, now you have a big tailwind for people to move over to Rumble and see more content, because there's a lot of other Fox hosts on Rumble, like Dan Bongino, contributors there, and he's one of the biggest creators on Rumble. And there's a few others. Their names escape my mind right now. But they're, you know, this is a place for conservative commentary, and you don't have that on TV anymore. That's it. You're not going to see it anywhere on TV. You're not going to see conservative commentary, right-wing commentary that's going to question the establishment. And that's Rumble. That's what it's about, because it's all about censorship, right? So you have censorship on TV, different mediums where they want to basically silence any voices against established ideas such as vaccines are safe, or should we go against Russia and Ukraine. Anything that's like an establishment view is now basically completely censored off of TV, and that's a very, very strong tailwind for RUM. And I think that's going to maintain a high sentiment premium. Now, this stock is fairly to richly valued. It is, okay? But I think they're growing so fast. They have strong tailwinds, a really good future. And I think this is one, again, where the play is to sell puts on it. You can get really good premiums and effective yields on RUM. Here's another stock, ASXC, which Tony brought to our attention. It's got a few catalysts. I'm wondering if this could be a trade idea. All right. So this could be a swing for the rest of the week. We're Tuesday morning. This could have some upward momentum because let's look at the pillars. It's bouncing off the 20 DMA. We have earnings on Monday, so you can have some event anticipation into the earnings on Monday. But there's also two other items. We had a catalyst this morning. Ascensus Surgical announces Fukuoka Tokushuka Hospital in Japan to initiate Senhance surgery programs. They got that catalyst. And then we have another, let's call it a event anticipation or FOMO catalyst into early next week, which is Karl Storz. If you look at this Karl Storz agreement from a few months ago, this was like a preliminary agreement, and it says a definitive agreement will be developed. The definitive agreement, I think it says 90 days. Here it is. The detailed terms are currently being negotiated, and definitive agreements will be finalized within 90 days. Thank you, Tony, for bringing that to our attention. So 90 days, roughly 3 months, February 16th, roughly May 16th. So roughly that'll be maybe announced on the earnings call next Monday, or maybe a week or two after that. So you have all of these events which could cause some FOMO going into Monday on top of the catalyst this morning, on top of the 20 DMA bounce. So this is one which I think is a fair play. By the way, I forgot to do technical level. Did I? No. CYH is at 695. I gave it a technical level. Okay. So just in terms of conviction, I'll tell you CYH is my number one for today, maybe followed by Celsius towards 95. Then LAZR to a lesser extent because that chart doesn't look superb. And you got resistance. It's right resistance, but something to keep on watch in case it breaks resistance and holds above that 20 DMA. Okay, so a little bit lower conviction on LAZR RUM and ASXC as far as what they might do today, but Celsius and CYH probably my top two picks for today. Okay, then we got earnings this afternoon, Microsoft, Google, Visa, ENPH. I mean, the sentiment on Microsoft is very strong. Everyone I know thinks Microsoft has a chance of beating, but the technicals are below the 20 DMA. I don't do earnings bets. I hold this in my IRA. I'm not going to take a trade into earnings. I've stopped that a long time ago. I'd rather react after earnings. So we're going to wait to see what they report and see if there's an opportunity after that this afternoon. All right, a few other things following up on Chris Tuttle. Today's Tuesday, so we have Chris Tuttle, Tuttle Trades, episode 2 tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Last week, he gave us short MBLY, long QIPT. Now, MBLY, their earnings on Thursday. I like his idea, but I've been saying I'm going to modify that a little bit and wait for after earnings because I'd like to see an IV crush on the options after the earnings report. Perhaps the IV will be crushed with people not having the lockup on their radar, the Microsoft lockup. So after earnings on Thursday, some period after that, maybe within a couple days, Microsoft will be free to start selling shares. That's the thesis on MBLY. So that's on our radar from Tuttle Trades last week. The second one was a long QIPT and has been doing well on that. That's been up, well, not really since Tuesday, but it was up yesterday. Had a good day. QIPT had a good day yesterday. Finally bounced. So that's on our radar as well. So tune in tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. for episode 2 of Tuttle Trades and see what he brings to the table. We'll have a conversation with him about that. All right, want to note a few things on the schedule. I'm talking to XXI. I was supposed to be yesterday, but I'll be talking to XXI management this morning, hopefully. And if I learn anything important, I'll do a quick video update later today, let you know what I learned on XXII. DRIO, we're interviewing the president of DRIO, Rick Anderson, tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. So tomorrow, 4:30 p.m., tune in exclusively on the StoryTrading app, and we're going to have a bunch of questions for him. There's been lots of press releases recently. We're going to talk to him about the significance of those and kind of maybe press him a little bit on the status of Aetna and the status of when is revenue really going to inflect hockey stick style, which is what they've been talking about for a couple of years. Are we on the cusp of that or not? We'll talk to him about that tomorrow, 4:30. Also, man, I've been working on this for a long time. I'm so excited. I got John Givens, who I love. I think I love from the conference calls. This is the new co-CEO, VTSI. I've been working on this, honestly, for 2 months, maybe more. I've been reaching out to VTSI management, and they finally agreed this Sunday night, 9 p.m. We have both Bob Ferris and John Givens, the co-CEOs of VTSI. And you know I like this earnings report, and I like tripled my position on this earnings report. A nice pullback here, 20 DMA. So I'm excited to meet John Givens, have a conversation with him, learn. My whole goal out of this meeting is to get a sense of last quarter. Is that going to be sustainable? Is that an inflection point, or was it just lumpiness? That's really what I want to get out. So we're going to ask some key questions, let them talk, and so we can assess for ourselves if that was just a lumpy quarter or if that was the start of a new VTSI. And my sense is it's a start of a new VTSI. It's an inflection point for the company, and this company could see double digits later this year. That's what I'm thinking, but we might be proven wrong on Sunday. So tune in Sunday, 9 p.m. And if I'm right, by the way, it's good to get that conviction and hear information that might back up that thesis. So that's going to be a big interview Sunday, 9 p.m. So lots of things going on. We're keeping track of these other stocks as well, Clearfield and HIMS and Augex. I can't cover them all every single morning, but we'll keep an eye on all of that. Quickly, let's check the news, see if there's anything here. Link is doing an acquisition of Envoy, something to take a look at. And AI got a downgrade this morning. By the way, AI is right at 200-day moving average. It bounced off of it. We noted this yesterday, and now it's up 4%, even though it got a downgrade this morning. Those technicals are so important, especially with the RSI here at 38. Not my type of trade because it's purely technicals, basically. So not something as a story trader I would have done based purely on technicals. I would have had to have a fundamental conviction that the value is worth it here at this price, or a catalyst or something like that. But pure technical traders probably, could have taken advantage of that 200 DMA support and pop off that level. All right, guys. Hopefully that's great content for you. I think I worked hard this morning, getting some good ideas. CYH again, Celsius, my top 2 picks. Watch LAZR RUM, ASXC. Earnings tonight, Microsoft, the one I'm most interested in. We'll see you guys today for post-market wrap at 4 p.m. And maybe I'll notifications on for the app after I talk to XXII later today. I'll try to do a video update on what I learned from XXII management. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.